Well, hello my darlings, and welcome back to our channel. I am so glad you are here. Today we are going to be creating a glam desk organizer using all of Dollar Tree products and by spending only $19.25. I hope you'll stay tuned. For this project, you will need 2 of these square vases. You will need 10 of these 5-inch square beveled mirrors. You will need 2 rolls of diamond wrap. You will need 2 of these plastic napkin holders. You will need 1 of these sauce cups. They come in a pack of 4. You will also need 3 of these essentials organizers. And of course, you will need your handy dandy tools. Let's get crafting. So the first thing you're going to do is prepare your napkin holders with 2 of your square mirrors as well as some diamond wrap across the top. Now for the essence of time, I'm just showing you what this looks like. I have created a video in the past of how to recreate these, and so I am going to leave the link in the description box below so that you can refer to that video when making this part of our desk organizer. So now that you have embellished your napkin holders, it is now time to create the foundation upon which our desk organizer is going to be established. And to do this, we are going to make a 2-tiered foundation so that we can have a 2-tiered organizer. Now, what I'm showing you here is because these drawers or organizers are set on the diagonal. See, once I pick it up, it kind of folds in on itself. We cannot glue them side by side. If we do, the only place where that glue will engage is on that rib on top. And so to make sure that we are going to have a secure fit when gluing these 2 pieces together, we are going to have to glue them upside down, one right side up rather, and the other upside down to ensure that that glue is going to engage upon 2 flat surfaces. And so to make our first tier, what I'm going to do is go in with a combination of our permanent glue as well as our hot glue, that permanent glue being able to cure over a period of time, while our hot glue is going to give us a right now adhesion so that we will be able to continue working. And so once I have placed down my foundation of permanent glue, I'm simply going to go in with a similar pattern for that hot glue, making sure to hit all the places where I have placed permanent glue. Once I have placed that foundation of hot glue down, then it is simply going to be a matter of finding my placement, placing those 2 trays together, and applying some pressure to make sure that all of that glue, both hot glue and permanent glue, has engaged with those 2 trays. Once I am satisfied that I have applied enough pressure and the seal, which is instantaneous, is set, then I am going to, using my 3rd and final organizer tray, go ahead and place that on top of the back of that first layer. I know I could have said that a different way, but you understand what I'm saying. So what I'm doing here is I'm simply going in with my permanent glue. Once again, if you notice, I'm only going in on the ridge of the bottom of that upside down organizer because that is the only place where that glue is going to engage. That lip is blocking you can say in the middle of that organizer or the flat bottom of that organizer from being engaged. So I'm simply putting my glue on top of the ridge and then placing my second organizer on top of that to make my second layer. I'm simply lining up those edges and applying some pressure. So I'm going to allow this to set for a few moments. So now that our foundation has been set into place, we are now going to embellish it using our diamond wrap. We're going to go around, of course, the first layer of our organizer, as well as the second layer on top, in front and in back. And to do this, I'm simply going to use our hot glue to lay this diamond wrap, and I am going to start a little ways behind that divot that I just showed you. The reason why I am starting, or rather I should say I'm overlapping that divot, is because I do not want to start there and then when it is time to cover that divot, you will be able to see the interruption of that diamond wrap. So excuse me right now for being out of frame, but as you can see, I placed some hot glue right there, overlapping that divot, and once I have started my placement, or excuse me, once I have found my starting point, I am now going to continue this process by laying down a few inches of hot glue at a time, being very careful, of course, not to burn myself as I press that diamond wrap into the hot glue. And of course, as you can see, I'm wearing some silicone finger gloves, and this is helping me in the process of laying this diamond wrap. So I'm going to continue this process going all the way around. Once I have finished my bottom layer, I am going to go in and wrap diamond wrap around the top layer as well, both front and back. So now that we have placed the diamond wrap around our organizer on both tiers, top and bottom, we are now going to place our mirrors. For some of you, however, you may simply want to stop here and use this as a catch-all, maybe for your paper clips, staples, thumbtacks, whatever have you. But we are going to take this today on to another level by using some of Dollar Tree's 5-inch mirrors. Now what you see I'm doing here is I'm placing the mirrors on the organizer even before I start to glue them down. And the reason for doing this is I want to make sure I have my placement correct before I start to glue them. Now I'm taking my tape measure and I'm trying to see how much overlap I am going to have on either side. On one side I have 2 inches, and on the other side, if you notice, there was maybe 1.75 inch space there. What I want to make sure is that I have the same amount of overhang on both sides. So all I did was adjusted my mirrors and made sure that when I measured, I ended up with 1.75 inches on one side and 1.75 inches on the other side. Now that I have found where all of my mirrors are going to sit, I am going to one mirror at a time, and this is going to help you to keep track of where those mirrors need to sit. One mirror at a time, I am going to glue those mirrors down using our combination of permanent glue as well as hot glue. And once I have placed my foundation of both glues on the edge of that tray, I am going to take my mirror and pretty much where I took it from, I am going to set it right back, and using the leverage from the other mirror on the other side, I'm going to push it in, find my placement, and when I'm satisfied that it is sitting where I need it to be, I am going to apply some pressure to make sure that that glue has engaged. So one more time, I am going to take my permanent glue, apply it to the edges of that tray, front and back. There's going to be no side or middle piece here because of how we're placing these mirrors today. Once I have finished with my permanent glue, I'm going to go in with my hot glue very quickly because we do not want that hot glue to melt even before we can place our mirror. And once I have placed my foundation of glue down, simply again just taking my mirror and placing it back within that empty space, using the leverage of the last mirror that has not yet been placed down to secure it, applying some pressure and allowing it to dry. So I am going to continue this process with the remaining mirror on the first level, as well as the 3 mirrors on the top level, by doing the same thing, placing them, making sure that they're aligned to the mirrors on the bottom. And once I'm satisfied with the placement, I will glue them down. So here you have our desk organizer that is about 85% of the way finished. And even without the additional components, my darlings, you can see that this piece is already beautiful. And so what I'm going to show you now is how to embellish your organizer with components that will be able to help you keep all of your office supplies together and in an organized fashion. The square vases to hold your writing utensils and perhaps your letter opener or scissors, that sauce cup to hold your stamps or even your paper clips or thumbtacks, and our mirrored napkin holders to hold any mail that is coming in or your mail that is going out. Now, to apply my glass containers to my mirrors, I am going to be using epoxy as opposed to a usual permanent glue and hot glue. And the reason why I opt to do this instead is because that epoxy is going to dry stellarly clear. There's not going to be any residue. There's not going to be any place where you'll be able to see that these parts have been glued down. Epoxy is going to be the best adhesive for this portion of this project, because you want your piece to look seamlessly created. And so just making sure that when I place my 2 square vases down, applying just a little bit of pressure, not trying to finagle with it too much because I don't want those 2 pieces to start sliding, but then taking my tape measure and making sure that my vases are the same length away from the lip, or rather the edge of that mirror. While I have made sure that my placement is perfect, I am now going to use the remaining epoxy that I have mixed together to place my sauce cup down onto that mirror. Once I have done so, it is simply going to be a matter of leaving those 3 components to set for a few moments, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, before I come back to show you our last and final step. So here we are with our organizer, with our glass nicely set into place, as well as all the other components that we have placed on it thus far. While I was waiting for that glass to dry, I went ahead and I placed 1 mirrored napkin holder onto the organizer. And now I'm going to show you how I did that with this final one. Now, what I did was, using some rhinestone letters that I had on hand, I placed the word "in" on one of those napkin holders as well as out on the second one, just to give this another layer of pizzazz. But of course, my darlings, that is entirely optional whether you would like to do so or not. And now to place this napkin holder onto our organizer, what I'm doing here is going in with our concoction of that permanent glue. Again, being sure to get that glue just on top of the ledge, because there will be no place else for that glue to be engaged. And once I have placed that permanent glue onto that ledge, I'm going to follow up with a few beads of my hot glue as well. And once I have laid that foundation, what I'm going to do is turn it over, of course, and then place that mirrored napkin holder adjacent to the one that has already been set into place. And as you can see here, I'm standing up to make sure that I am placing them in mirrored position where they are equidistant, one away from the other, as well as equidistant from the edge of the mirrors. And then turning it around so you can see, this is what our final project is going to look like. So of course, I'm going to clean this up, remove any glue fronds that are there, clean my glass, and then I'll be back to show you what our finished project looks like. Well, here you have it, my darlings, our Glam Desk Organizer that we created using only Dollar Tree products. Isn't this absolutely 100% glamtastic? I think I would have to say that my favorite part of this project, however, would have to be that last minute fleeting thought to include the words in and out on our mirrored napkin holders. Again, even though we have created something that is dripping in luxury, that is dripping in diamond wrap, we have also made sure, my darlings, that this piece is going to be as functional as it is beautiful to look at. And so if you have found any value in this video, my darlings, kindly be sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as leave me a comment in the comment section below. How would you use this? Would you place this on your desk? Would you place this in your foyer? Would you use it as a desk organizer, or could you possibly use it for something else? I would love to hear from you. To my Danny's darlings, I just would like to say to you, thank you for all of your continued support, for your love, for your comments, for your questions, for your feedback. Please know that none of it is wasted, and I appreciate each and every one of you. To those of you who might not yet be Danny's darlings, but who may have simply stumbled across our channel today, kindly consider joining our ever-growing community of DIYers as we craft with and learn from each other on a weekly basis. We would love to have you. And so, my darlings, of course, as you know, before I sign off, I'm going to leave you with the motto to our channel, which is simply this. Say it with me. Why buy when you can DIY? And so, my darlings, my loves, until next time, I say to you, please, please, please take care of yourselves for me. Know that I love you all. Bye now.